moment Eagles fans have been waiting for is finally here. After months of anticipation, we're just hours away from seeing the reigning Super Bowl champions take the field for the first time since lifting the Lombardi Trophy. And make no mistake about it, this isn't just any preseason opener. This is a game that carries weight, energy, excitement, and a little bit of tension. Philadelphia opens its preseason against the Cincinnati Bengals, and what looked like a routine tune-up match has quickly become one of the most anticipated games of the week. Why? Because there's real football energy in the air. This isn't just about reps or evaluating fringe roster guys. This is about making a statement. It's about testing new schemes, sharpening the edges of a championship caliber roster, and giving the fans at Lincoln Financial Field something to scream about. And they will, believe me. Thursday night is going to be electric. It's been a long time since Eagles fans packed the link to see their squad in action. And when those players step onto the field, they won't just be walking into a game, they'll be walking into a celebration, a full-blown green and white party to honor the defending champs. The energy is going to be off the charts, with close to 70,000 fans expected to show up, maybe even more if you count standing room only tickets. This is going to feel a lot more like a playoff game than a preseason opener. It might not be a sellout on paper, but in spirit, the place will be bursting. Now here's where it gets spicy. Bengals head coach Zac Taylor just dropped a bombshell. He announced that not only will Cincinnati's starters suit up, they're going to play multiple series. That's right. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and company are hitting the field in a preseason game against this Eagles defense. And that changes everything. This isn't just a warm-up. This is a real test. Most coaches play it safe in the preseason, especially with their stars, not Taylor. And people are already asking, is this smart? Because Nick Sirianni, ever since taking over in 2021, has taken a completely different approach. He barely plays his starters, especially on offense. And considering the Eagles' recent success, that strategy has clearly worked. But Zac Taylor? He's got some demons to exercise. Let's put it in perspective. Since becoming the Bengals head coach in 2019, Taylor's teams have started slow, painfully slow. There are combined 1 win and 11 losses in the first 2 weeks of the regular season under his watch. That's not a small sample size. That's a clear trend. Even in 2021, the year they shocked the world and reached the Super Bowl, they had to claw their way out of a rocky start. And since then, September has remained a problem. Last season, they began 1-3. The year before, 1-2. The year before that, 2-2. It's been a recurring theme. And in a division as brutal and unforgiving as the AFC North, you don't get to stumble out of the gate and still expect to be standing in January. Taylor knows this. He knows that in 2025, the margin for error is razor thin. The Steelers are scrappy. The Browns have improved. The Ravens are always in the hunt. The Bengals cannot afford another sluggish September. So Taylor is flipping the script. He wants his team ready, not in week 3, not in October, now. And that means throwing his starters into the fire in preseason game 1. It's risky, no doubt about it, but it's also bold. And maybe it's exactly what they need. But now, let's shift the lens back to Philly. Because regardless of who takes the field for the Bengals, the focus for Eagles fans is squarely on their defense. A new-look unit led by Vic Fangio, a veteran defensive coordinator known for crafting physical, disciplined, and smart defenses. Fangio made waves last year by using many of his defensive starters deep into the preseason, even in the final game. And if that's any indication, we might see some familiar names taking the field Thursday night. And that would be a huge bonus, not just for the fans, but for the coaching staff as well. Because if Joe Burrow and that high-octane Bengals offense are out there, even for just a couple of series, this becomes an ideal measuring stick for a defense looking to find its identity. Fangio has weapons, no doubt, but what he doesn't have yet is a clear rotation, especially in key positions. That's where Thursday becomes invaluable. Let's talk secondary. That battle for the second cornerback spot opposite Quinton Mitchell is heating up fast. Kaylee Ringo, Adoree Jackson, and Mitchell himself are all in the mix. The Eagles made a big-time trade for Jackson just days ago, signaling how seriously they're taking this competition. But it was Mitchell last season who quietly put the clamps on Jamar Chase when these teams met. That matchup alone, Mitchell versus Chase, is worth the price of admission. If the rookie corner can hold his own again, he might just lock up. That starting job before the regular season even kicks off. Up front, things are just as intriguing. The pass rush is led by Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, but beyond them, there's a dogfight for snaps. Josh Uche, Azeez Ojulari, Antoine Powell-Ryland, they're all trying to force their way into the rotation. And with the recent trade that sent Thomas Booker packing, one name has emerged from the shadows, Gabe Hall. Don't be surprised if he flashes Thursday night. The coaching staff likes his size, his motor, and his upside. A strong showing here could push him into serious consideration for the final 53-man roster. Linebacker is another position under the microscope, especially with Zach Bond out due to a back injury. Someone is going to get a long look next to him. And there's a real opportunity for a young player to step up. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a name that pops, but all eyes will be on Jihad Campbell. The rookie out of Alabama has been generating serious buzz throughout camp, and Thursday is his chance to show why. Now let's pause for a second and talk about this kid. Because if you haven't heard what's being said about Jihad Campbell, you're missing out. Saquon Barkley, the Eagles' star running back, couldn't stop raving about him. He compared Campbell to Micah Parsons. Yes, that Micah Parsons. Barkley said Campbell is raw but freakishly athletic, that he's a problem, a real problem. He even joked that Campbell has been too aggressive in camp, constantly flying around and sometimes forgetting the red jersey means don't hit the quarterback. But at the same time, that's exactly what you want. A young linebacker who's fearless, hungry, and playing like he's shot out of a cannon. And it's not just the physical tools. Barkley highlighted Campbell's mentality, said the rookie asks a ton of questions, soaks up information, constantly checks in with vets to understand what he could have done better on any given play. That's maturity. That's a guy who's not just relying on his talent, he's chasing greatness. It makes sense too when you look at his journey. Campbell came into Alabama as a pure edge rusher. Then, because of injuries, Nick Saban asked him to switch to off-ball linebacker. That versatility, that willingness to adapt, it speaks volumes. And now Vic Fangio has a Swiss Army knife to play with. Line him up on the edge, drop him into coverage, send him on blitzes. The options are endless. And if Thursday night is any indication, we're about to see a breakout performance. We've also got to mention the safety battle. Sidney Brown is injured and the position is wide open. Enter Cooper DeJean. The rookie has been deployed all over the secondary during camp, playing safety, slot corner, even outside. Fangio seems to love his football IQ and instincts. There's a real chance DeJean ends up starting week 1. And he'll if he continues to impress. And in a game like this, going up against Joe Burrow, he'll have a chance to showcase his versatility in real time. One play that still sticks out from last season? That 4th down stop Cooper had on Jamar Chase in the flat. That was textbook defense. Quick read, great angle, perfect tackle. Plays like that are why fans are hyped to see more of him. If he brings that same intensity Thursday, you can pencil him into the rotation right now. And let's be real. Anytime you get to watch a secondary lineup against Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, you're going to learn a lot. Burrow may not have led his team to the playoffs last year, but his individual numbers were flat out insane. Just shy of 5,000 passing yards, 43 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, 70.6% completion rate. That's MVP level production, even if the record didn't reflect it. Which brings us back to Thursday. Because this is not your typical preseason matchup. You got one team, the Bengals, trying to shake off their slow start curse and come out swinging. And on the other side, you got the reigning champs looking to fine-tune a defense that could be scary by midseason. It's strength versus strength, firepower versus swagger. And for the fans who managed to snag tickets, you're in for a treat. Sure, they weren't cheap. Preseason prices somehow keep climbing, but at least this time, you're getting real football. At least on one sideline, and if Nick Sirianni decides to let a few starters go out there and answer the bell, we might just get a full-blown heavyweight showdown in early August. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The sports world has been abuzz with one of the most talked about rumors recently. The Philadelphia Eagles have allegedly secured a blockbuster deal, confirming a trade with the Cleveland Browns that involves none other than Myles Garrett. According to sources close to the negotiations, this move could redefine the defensive landscape of the NFL and send shockwaves through both franchises. Myles Garrett, known for his relentless pass-rushing skills and game-changing presence on the field, has long been a coveted asset, and rumors of a potential trade have circulated for months. The deal reportedly involves multiple players and draft picks heading to Cleveland, though details remain murky, sparking intense speculation among fans and analysts alike. The Browns, traditionally aggressive in their roster moves, appear poised to bolster other areas of their team in exchange for parting with one of the league's premier defensive ends. Meanwhile, the Eagles, in pursuit of elevating their defensive front, seem to have made a bold statement by targeting Garrett, who could provide the disruptive force needed to complement their existing core. The ripple effect of this trade, if confirmed in full detail, might extend beyond the two teams, influencing upcoming free agency decisions and draft strategies across the league. Insiders hint that this could be just the beginning of a flurry of moves in the offseason as teams scramble to adjust their rosters accordingly. Delving deeper into the possible ramifications of the Myles Garrett trade, one cannot overlook the strategic implications this move might have for the Philadelphia Eagles. By acquiring Garrett, the Eagles would be adding an elite pass rusher who has consistently demonstrated the ability to alter offensive schemes and pressure quarterbacks at an exceptional level. This potential acquisition could give the Eagles' defense a significant upgrade, allowing them to become more aggressive and versatile in their play calling. The trade, confirmed in its broad strokes, has generated excitement within the Eagles' fan base, who see Garrett as the missing piece in their championship puzzle. Speculation abounds that the Eagles could be positioning themselves to contend for the Super Bowl more aggressively, betting on Garrett's proven track record of producing sacks, tackles for loss, and game-changing plays. On the other side of the coin, the Browns might be embracing a different philosophy by accumulating draft capital and young talent, perhaps aiming for a longer-term rebuild or retooling process. The possibility that the Browns are banking on a broader strategic shift has led to much debate among NFL pundits, who question whether trading away a player of Garrett's caliber signals a willingness to bet on future potential over present dominance. The overarching narrative is that both teams are taking calculated risks, and the eventual outcomes of this trade will be scrutinized heavily in the months to come. While the trade is confirmed, whispers about the exact components of the deal continue to fuel intense discussions throughout the NFL community. Rumors suggest that the Browns have not just received draft picks, but also a combination of promising players from the Eagles roster, potentially altering the Browns team dynamics in profound ways. Among the players possibly involved there is talk of young, high-upside talent being sent to Cleveland, which could indicate the Browns' intent to inject fresh energy into their squad. This potential influx of new players might help the Browns address some of their pressing needs, especially if they aim to surround their core with more complementary pieces. On the Eagles side, the arrival of Garrett could also shift the key defensive responsibilities, with the coaching staff expected to redesign schemes to maximize his impact. Analysts are predicting that the Eagles' defensive coordinator will soon unveil plans to deploy Garrett in multiple roles, increasing the pressure on opposing offenses. Moreover, this trade could have ripple effects on the locker rooms of both teams, with new dynamics and leadership roles emerging as the rosters adjust. The buzz around this trade extends beyond the field as fans eagerly await official statements and further clarity from both organizations, hoping to understand the full scope of what could be a landmark NFL transaction. Adding to the intrigue is the timing of the trade, which appears to coincide with broader offseason movements across the league. Speculation suggests that the Eagles, by securing Myles Garrett, might be signaling an all-in approach to the upcoming season, aiming to capitalize on their current competitive window. This bold strategy could influence other teams to rethink their own off-season priorities, potentially sparking a domino effect of trades, signings, and draft moves. The Browns, in contrast, may be leveraging this trade to acquire assets that provide greater flexibility in the draft and salary cap, hinting at a strategic pivot toward rebuilding or retooling their roster. The timing also suggests a calculated effort to avoid prolonged negotiations that could distract players and management, with both teams seemingly eager to close the deal and focus on off-season preparations. The buzz generated by this trade has already started to dominate sports talk shows, social media debates, and insider reports, fueling further speculation about what other surprises the offseason might hold. Fans of both franchises are now watching closely, aware that the decisions made in this period could shape the trajectory of their teams for years to come. The ripple effect of this trade is poised to influence not just the immediate season, but potentially the competitive balance of the league in the long term. Ultimately, the confirmed trade between the Browns and Eagles involving Myles Garrett sets the stage for one of the most compelling storylines of the NFL offseason. While many details remain speculative, the core fact that Garrett could be donning a new uniform has energized both fan bases and reshaped expectations. This rumor, now validated by reports of a finalized deal, underscores the high stakes and dynamic nature of NFL roster building. The Eagles' pursuit of Garrett highlights their desire to inject elite talent into their defense and position themselves as serious contenders. Conversely, the Browns' willingness to part with such a star player suggests a strategic recalibration that could either pay off handsomely or lead to a challenging rebuild. The ongoing discussions about player roles, draft capital, and team strategies add layers of complexity to what could become one of the defining trades of the year. As the offseason progresses, all eyes will be on Philadelphia and Cleveland to see how this trade materializes on the field and impacts the broader NFL landscape. This development not only fuels excitement, but also ignites debate about the best path forward for two franchises with ambitious goals and passionate fan bases. The NFL offseason just became a lot more intriguing with this blockbuster rumor now. A confirmed reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.